do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da, hope I get away with it. Oh, do-da-day.
That worked finally. Evidently, I had the wrong chat for the channel pulled up on my iPad. Hello, welcome to Last Man Standing. I'm Dan Hollifield. With me tonight, we got Joe Bachman. Stupid Clock was running a little bit lightweight this evening. Dawn was there. John was there. I was there. Chris came to visit Dawn's hotel room while she was in the show. Joe Dog showed up to drop off some stuff at Uncon and then went right back to Chattanooga. Did not look well.
I saw his messages in the group chat earlier.
Hello, Thesis.
So, hey, Thesis.
Probably ought. Well, I don't know if Thesis wants a link or not, but I could send him one. We're not getting any interruptions by third parties tonight, so let's see. Copy. Messenger still is asking me for a PIN number that I've never had.
You want me to send it to him real quick?
Let me see what's going on here. It's not letting me scroll down. Yeah, you'll have to. It's just I don't know what Messenger's problem is. I mean, I've tried to establish a PIN number to get all this stuff working again. It doesn't screw up on the iPad, just on my desktop, both desktops.
That's weird.
Actually. Oh, he's got the link.
Okay.
He is out walking the dog.
Ah. I've been relaxing and gaming most of the night, and was trying to finish up the mission I am currently on before Last Man Standing started, and then got a call from one of my coworkers. That's what I was on the phone with my coworker when I popped into the room.
That's all right. I understood. Well, it was nice when they were the four of us there in Stupid O'Clock, and only problem was Chris was sitting back away from Dawn's microphone, so he had to talk really loud for us to be able to hear him. And then
and Chris is kind of soft spoken to begin with.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But he's well worth listening to.
Oh, yes.
Aw. Fox is going to drop a like. And
Awesome.
Michaela got to go to bed, but she wanted to say hi. And okay. That one's for you.
Especially if you're playing with Foxy. Yeah, I need to download that game.
Apparently so. I'm looking forward to Saturday's show. I'm hoping it is Saturday, isn't it?
For Bladed's?
Yeah, 25th, yes. That's the thing about having shows every other week, like Willow's show. On the off weeks, you go, oh wait, it's that night. I've got to go look, and you go look, and you go look, and you go, just not there. It's because it's the next week. I'm not complaining, Thesis. I'm just getting old and kind of crotchety. Oh. Now I get the feeling I'm going to need somebody about Thesis's age and strength level to come and help me with a couple of railroad ties before I can build the new shed over the well pump. But I noticed today when I got the riding mower out, there are a couple of slots in the back bumper where I can actually hook up a tow strap to it and not tear up the lawnmower.
That's good.
Yes. Thing is, these are 8-foot long railroad ties, and I think the well house itself is 6 by 5. So I may have to excavate one of my sheds and see if I can get an old chainsaw to actually start. If not, I'll just buy a new one and wear out the chain in one job. That's all right. I got sharpening files for chainsaw blades. Oh, yeah. Alternating Saturday and Sunday every week. Yeah, if your schedule can take doing a weekly show, I'm sure people will adjust to one week being Saturday and the next week being Sunday and the week after being it's whatever.
I say, we'll all be there, so
yeah. And when he does drop in, I'll have to pop something in the private chat so that he can see it. And apparently Zach is probably watching a launch tonight, which may have already happened, but then again, it may not. I don't know. I don't keep track of this. I got enough excitement in my life just going shopping and walking the dog. We were at the hardware store today. And I pulled up this dog leash nylon strap on inch thick metal chain. And I'm going, ooh, okay. If we can't get the self-propelled repaired on the push mower, I can always hook the dog up to this and let her pull it around.
little bobsled.
Pretty much. Well, we're talking about a 90-pound German Shepherd. She'd be able.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, thesis. I learned to keep an eye out for piles of shit pretty much while I was still in elementary school. Not the same kind you're talking about, but yeah, there's always at least two. Doesn't matter what school you're in. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay was asking me today, we haven't had a high school reunion since Carell passed away. He was the one that used to organize those. I go, he's not the only one. About 75% of the people I went to high school have passed away. Um, it's either they didn't take care of themselves or they became accident prone. Um, I don't know. I hate it. I mean, some of them are really, really decent people that I miss. It always seems to be the ones that are decent people that you will miss that wind up with health problems that nobody knew about. And then all of a
Yep.
sudden they're gone. And then the postmortem goes, holy, he should have known about this 30 years ago. Yeah. Um, oh,
Keep getting an itch in my ear.
it's Trey's ventriloquism.
There's something scary about that thought.
Yeah, I haven't met your wife in person, but I've talked with her. I can see why. Coochie, coochie, coochie. uh,
Actually, I'm surprised she
oh,
hasn't come down here yet.
I thought to check up on my application for Social Security, which I filled out according to the website on the 6th of this month. And they said, well, when you get through answering the questions, we can file the forms. I'm going, I thought I answered every question.
Yeah, gotta love the government.
I know there were things like, um, do you have any previous marriages? Yeah, but they're dead. Does it matter? And then I had to go through this whole mega rigmarole about yes, no, it didn't last more than 10 years. No, we didn't have any children. They're dead. Can we get on with the paperwork? And what was the other one? There's only two questions that I went, that doesn't apply, so I skipped it. Finally decided I'd better try and answer. It turned out to be, does this apply to you? No. 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 Okay, next. Um, Foxy, you have no idea. Well, you might have an idea. Don't know your circumstances, my dear. Um, but I will tell you, it's a whole lot more paperwork to retire than it ever was to do anything else I've ever done. Um, I have gotten married and divorced with less paperwork.
Hmm.
They
I don't.
and the state of Georgia makes divorce a whole lot harder than it makes getting married. There's only one form to get married. You got to get a whole lawyer to get divorced.
That's true. The lawyer's kind of the expensive part. Well, the lawyer's the expensive part until the divorce is finalized, and then it just kind of depends on how badly you got screwed as to how you know expensive the rest of it
Act-
was.
Actually, she screwed herself. I came out of it sitting pretty. Um, I did not lie to her, but I was rather judicious with the truth. Um, she asked for half of that year's income tax return, and that's it. And the car that her son wrecked that she still had sitting around, I told her can't do anything with it till the loan's paid off and I get the title.
Mm.
And I've declared bankruptcy, so that's going to be about 5 years. And by the time the loan was paid off and the bank was ready to send me the title, the car had been crushed.
Oh,
No, no, that was her decision. I didn't have anything to do with it.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was willing to let her have it. I mean, her boy wrecked it. I didn't need it anymore. Um, I'd bought a little bitty Ford pickup truck, which served me for several years until I had to have the motor rebuilt, and the mechanic I hired on the cheap screwed it up. So I wound up having to sell the truck, and all I had was my motorcycle, and I used that for about a year because it was all I had. And then I bought a used car on my own, and nobody had any claim on it but me. Um, I don't know how long I drove. Oh no, no, it was a full size pickup truck I bought for my sister. Uh, Evidently, it had a bad habit.
It had a bad head.
It had a bad habit.
Oh, habit.
Yes. Uh, it was a deer magnet.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
She
Say
hit
no
she
more.
she hit a deer with it. My brother hit a deer with it while he had borrowed it once to go to the hardware store. I hit two deer with it.
Oh,
I finally quit putting new grills in the front and just chained the hood down, and I drove it for another 15 years. And then
oh,
uh,
that's awesome.
I sold it, and guy came with a flatbed trailer and hauled it off the same day that my wife and I got rear-ended in the Toyota.
Oh,
So when I actually needed an emergency vehicle, it was gone.
oh, that sounds about like my luck.
Oh, I like Foxy's attitude here. Her dad had a deer magnet car. He stopped fixing the damage and started putting deer stick decals on the side. One Mississippi, two Mississippi.
Just put a
Oh,
deer decal of a deer's head and just start putting the hash marks next to it.
do it just like a fighter plane from World War II.
Mhm.
Um, oh,
Oh, that's funny.
well, the weird thing is, I'm still living in the same place. We see the same herds of deer go through over and over again. and some of them wander up in the backyard, and we'll be standing there or looking out the back windows of the house watching them,
Mhm.
and then whatever dog we have at the time starts barking, and they go, "I'm out of here." You'd think
that
Roger
that
Ramjet could move fast.
that is a beefy car if it managed to get up to 8 before it finally gave up the ghost.
Hey, I've had cars that would take it. Um, my Chevy Caprice, it probably could have managed surviving 10 deer spread out over a few years.
Hmm.
It would have looked like a demolition derby car, but
So
that'd be
our
all right.
poor chief of police here in town, he he'll get his squad car fixed and then end up with, somebody that either hits him at a traffic stop or they try to run when he's got him cornered and they ram his SUV. Just got out of the shop again after the last time it got hit by somebody, and now he's hit a deer with it.
Oh, a Mercury. No wonder.
Oh yeah,
There wasn't no plastic in them things.
no,
Oh, you had one of those? I'd go through a bus without suffering any damage whatsoever.
yeah, that's no lie.
I'm wondering why they didn't use that for Dukes of Hazzard because they could have saved money that only needed two, one for stunts and one for dress up.
Right?
Ah, oh,
Oh man.
I've gotten since I've retired, I have gotten so much more cautious in my driving as I'm going. Yes, I've got insurance. No, I don't have a job to pay a body shop. Uh, let's just slow down on the roads where I know there's going to be a deer because I know they're there. I've
Hmm.
seen them there. They walk out in front of me all the time. And I'll feel really bad if I hit a deer. I always have. Um, I know a lot of my friends and coworkers who go, "Hey, it's just tenderized. Stop, pick it up, throw it in the back, put that thing on the grill." And I'm going, I'd really just rather not hit it in the first place. Thank you. Seems like common sense to me. Uh,
Yeah, I I have a few friends that are like that. That are just pull over, grab it, and you know get ready to make some good jerky. It's like no, I'm not gonna try and field dress a deer after I just hit the thing. And even if I do feel like field dressing it, what am I going to haul it back with?
it's not like everybody carries a couple of big Yeti coolers in the back of their vehicle.
Well, not only that, but most likely my vehicle is probably out of commission, and I don't know that the tow truck driver is going to, you know, add that onto his haul.
Then again, around here, you could probably pay off the tow truck driver with a deer carcass.
That's true. Uh, bring a
Hey,
flat,
I'll
bring,
give you the deer I just hit if you take $150 off the towing fee.
yeah,
Um,
bring a flatbed. Why? I can hook you up. No, there's extras. What do you mean there's extras? Well, that's how I'm going to pay you. Oh,
No, I'd be ever so much grateful if I just go the rest of my life without having any kind of auto accidents anymore. I've already had a lifetime supply. Thank you.
Hmm.
Um, I was lucky to survive the two that I had on the motorcycle. Uh, thank God I was going slow.
Yeah, I got lucky with mine. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If I hadn't seen her, she would have hit me straight on the driver's side door. Luckily, I saw her, managed to gun it, and still got hit, but she hit the rear driver's side.
Oh,
So,
we had a driver that freaked Lindsay out one day when we went grocery shopping.
mhm.
Little old lady in a huge pickup truck next to our brand new Toyota. She backs up about 3 feet. I can't see around her. She stops, throws it in park, gets on her cell phone, and starts talking.
Oh, jeez.
Right. Well, I mean, she's halfway in a parking space. So I go, I'm not waiting on the little old lady to get through talking. Start backing up, get pulled out of the parking space, fixing to hit drive and go past her. And she starts backing up straight towards the car. Uh,
Some
it's
people are
like,
special, kind of special.
hey, it was like the third time ever that I had driven this car. And instead of hitting reverse, I hit neutral and stomped the gas pedal. The engine roared like an Indy car. Little old lady stopped and then finally looked back. And I said, yes, we're here. Dropped it into drive, took off like a scalded cat, and let her go on her way. Scared Lindsay to death.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Um, it's supposed to be raining here tomorrow. We're going to go all the way in the next county to go to a grocery store that still has the international foods aisle so she can get British stuff that she has run out of. And I said, look, honey, I would much rather we drive the van than take the new car because the whole way you're going to be worried that somebody else on the road is an idiot. You know, I can drive it. I know you can drive it. It's
Mhm.
everybody else on the road that we have to worry about. So we'll just take the van, and it's big enough for everybody to notice. Um, yeah. Uh, even though I was the victim of a hit and run in a parking lot a couple of years ago, and I just looked at the damage and I go, don't want my insurance to go up. It'll buff out. Didn't buff out, but
Yeah.
uh, I learned to live with it. I mean, it was already 20 years old by that time. So over 20 years. Hell, it was um, no, 20 years old will be 2 years from now. Um, 18, 18 years old at that time. So, or 16, excuse me. Do the math, Daniel. I don't have a spreadsheet. Mm, ah, yeah, thesis. There is always another idiot. Believe me. Um, on the road, in the parking lot, um, in the checkout. I can't tell you how many times we have gone to a department store and Lindsay swears I am leaving fingerprints in the handle of the shopping cart because there's so many people running out in front of me when I'm trying to push the cart, and they're just da 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 da,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm going. Do you have no situational awareness whatsoever? Um,
Yeah, my wife used to say she gets road rage inside of Walmart.
Exactly.
Which is
I
why we
get
now shop at Meyer.
I get less road rage on an interstate highway than I would in a Walmart.
I think she gets less on the interstate during rush hour than she does in Walmart.
Mm-hmm. When I had in high school with Dad's truck, an idiot standing in the crosswalk, put the truck in neutral and slammed the engine, big old 400, sounded like a plane. Yeah. Uh, sounded like an airplane taking off. Those kids moved pretty fast after that. I don't
Oh yeah.
blame them. I don't blame them at all. Good morning, Mike Jimmy.
Hey, Mike.
You're up early.
Yeah, that is early for him.
Uh, feeding time for
I'm.
the baby.
I was gonna say I'm willing to bet it's I'm willing to bet it wasn't his normal alarm clock that went off. Well, it's the
No, but
normal one now.
it's the one that you pay the most attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Something with a baby and 5 a.m. hunger. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh.
Well, I've been taking these 5 milligram melatonin tablets before I want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, you're supposed to take them and then a half hour later go to bed. And I do that. And I have been a good boy. I've been trying to go to bed before 3 a.m., uh, which you know me, I'm a night owl. If I had my druthers, I'd be getting up about noon and running till about 3 a.m. and then going to
Mm-hmm.
sleep. But there's a lot of stuff I have to do that the real world is not scheduled that way for. So about
Especially
one,
since COVID.
yeah, about 1 o'clock or so, I'll take one and finish off my beer and then go get in the bed and hope the dog doesn't kick me out on the floor because it's big enough to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, hey, there we got Mike Jimmy with us.
Hey,
Yay!
Good
Mike.
morning. Good morning.
Hello, tired daddy.
No, actually, I'm doing okay.
Oh, good.
Ooh, yeah, it's early, and I'm really look a mess, but
Ah,
you know, I put
you look
her
like an
in
artist.
coffee, and she fell asleep in her box. So I'm taking my time. I'm using it.
Yep.
It'll only be a matter of time before she wants feeding again, or
Uh,
changing, or something.
no, she's
Keys,
chill. She's
keys
in
to
her
the
sleeping
car,
bag.
whatever.
She's fine.
Uh,
So I haven't because of Facebook's glorious algorithms. Have
Hmm.
you come up with any stretch goals, Mike?
I have not yet. Um, I want to hit 2,000 though. Like that is my goal right now. That way I'm actually um sure that I'm gonna be able to do every single time. Uh, and so yeah, this covers my colorist, like the last couple of pages that I got to do,
Mhm.
uh, and all that. Hold on, let me grab my. There, it should be a little louder now.
yeah.
How's the I know you funded on Kickstarter. How's it going on Fund My Comic?
One backer.
One backer.
But
Yeah,
you're already funded on Kickstarter, right?
yeah, I am. So I'm funded on Kickstarter. I can just pull them up if you want.
I'm looking forward to, because I think I only have one of the Life on Cores right now.
You probably have a volume, I think. If
Yeah,
you
the
buy
1 through 6.
Yeah, the previous crowdfunding campaign was for the volume, which has issues 1 through 5.
1 through 5.
Okay.
So
And
I still
then,
need 6 as well as 7 that I
so
just backed.
6 is through, which is the one that Luce and I did in 24 hours.
Oh, okay. Is that the coloring book one?
Yeah,
Okay, that explains why I didn't get it.
yeah, no.
Uh,
So, yeah,
I
what else?
missed that. But I suppose I could always buy it.
Yeah, they're available. Like you can add them to your pledge as an add-on as well. Um, but yeah, here we go. From the Building Blossoms. Waiting 24
Yeah.
hours. Now, most people got the volume and they got the hardcover, which I have over here. So this is the
Yes, it's
one you all got.
beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
There we go. My little Cora, my little Cora. And this is actually a proof copy. So this is available on the campaign as well. And it has proof print on the inside.
I don't even remember. I need to go back and look. I don't even remember what level I backed.
Do you want me to just check real quick?
Oh, here we go. I got the sketch cover plus complete series.
Yeah. You're going to get some original art.
And I got hard copy of volume 7 and added another 40 euros.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got 15 shipping and you pledged 50 total. So I can drop them through for you if you want.
Yeah.
You're the one going to have to fill out the address. So
Yeah, that's right. Well, technically, Critical Glass is going to do the United States fulfillment. Well, partially. Like I like to get everything figured out here, and then I ship those boxes out to him. But yeah.
Well, I figure if anything I miss, if you have physical copies when you finally can afford to come to Hallowcon, I will pay you whatever you want, and ask to get what I've got autographed, which is what I like to do. Yeah, I've made sure to tell Lindsay, you don't let anybody go through my books without checking to see there's an autograph in the front first, because some of these are worth a whole lot more now than what an auctioneer would try and get for you. So yeah. Oh, I went through the rant about the church ladies making her worried about losing the house if I happen to have an accident. I mean, it's a crazy world. It is possible, but no. Only way that anybody can take the house and land away from her is if she forgets to pay the property taxes. Everything's paid for. I mean, cars are paid for, house and land are paid for. All I got to do, pay the insurance on everything, pay the property tax, keep the lights on. I'm doing good. And she was a little worried and about whether how long the money would last. So I pulled up my spreadsheet and I pulled up my pension and 401k, which has a combined amount of both of them together, and I said, "Honey, that is what I am worth to you alive." And she goes, "I'm going to stop worrying about the damn bills from now on then. If you can't pay the bills out of that, I will whoop you." And that it would be very well justified. Um, oh, let's just say I'm better off than I've ever been in my life.
Mhm.
And
Well,
I
you
am
work for it.
I am very relaxed because of that. I worked 46 years to make sure that happened.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you worked for it. It's not like it just dropped on you.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't matter if I'd inherited it or something, as long as I took care of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I put almost half a century into this already, so better have something to show for it.
Oh.
Ah. Good night, Foxy.
Oh, good night, Foxy. I gotta remember to talk to Nick tomorrow, see if he's doing a show. Monday morning.
Ah.
Because I know normally he'll take the holidays off.
It's a holiday tomorrow.
Monday.
Monday.
For
Monday
us,
is Memorial
it's
Day.
Memorial Day, yeah.
Okay.
Not to be
I don't-
confused with Veterans Day.
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
Yep. Yeah, he normally takes the holidays off, so since I'll be off work anyway and bored out of my mind, if he's not doing a show, I might just decide to host one for him.
We can do it
It
better.
could happen.
Then I need to talk to Grant also, because if Grant's going to do a drawing show Monday night, then I'll probably do a show Monday night also.
Now, Dawn said tonight she is not flying home from the convention in Dalton until Tuesday.
Yep.
So she possibly can come on her phone or tablet or whatever she's using at the hotel, but the Wi-Fi will suck.
Mm.
But that's what she can do.
Nothing else. I'll
Mac
drag
of
my
all
wife into the studio.
trades.
Hey, Mac.
Hello. Good to see you.
Yeah, if nothing else, I'll just see if I can convince my wife to come into the studio and run the comments for me while I feverishly try to burn, or I might just try and paint the rest of that in.
Hey,
that's
you're doing you're doing good on that painting. Yeah,
thank you.
It's a whole lot more subtle than I expected it to be when you told me what kind of paint you were using. But you're absolutely right. It'll fit better with the with a clear coat over the top. It won't be damaged at all as far as I know.
Yeah. I need to sit down on the Mac, because that's where the design is actually is on my Mac, and color it in, because that's what I did with the first one I painted in. I actually colored it in on the computer. That way I could look back and try to match up the
reference.
colors as best I could there.
Yeah, you might decide there's something that you did in the computer you'd want lighter or darker or a shaded tone to part of it to make it look a little bit more 3D or whatever it is that you're trying to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that way I'm not sitting here going, what color do I want to choose for this? Because I'm very indecisive on that.
Yes. Good to be seen. Hope we're all good. Yep, we're doing
wonderful, actually.
We're doing pretty well, yeah. I should have, barring a post office snafu, I should have a way to hook up my one printer to both desktop computers and much longer cables to go from my USB switching device to my external hard drives.
Useful.
So that they will not have to be within a couple of inches of the switching device for me to use them. So I may be wandering around in my woodshed looking for a little bit of stuff that I can make an external hard drive cabinet out of that does not stick way out on the desk with cables hanging everywhere. Only trouble is the power on lights are on the same end. The plugs go into the external hard drive. So you can't just drill holes in something and put the plugs through the back because you'll never know. You flip a switch, and unless you've got everything labeled, you never know which hard drive you just turned on. And when you have as many external hard drives as I do, that could be about, Mike, Jimmy, I've got like 30 terabytes of external hard drives here.
If you need it, you need it. I mean, there's 16 terabytes in this PC alone, and I'm still going,
Yeah, most of them are second and third backups because I've had enough computers now to know doesn't matter whether it's internal or external, hard drive going to fail eventually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like backups of backups and stuff like that. But like the average animation scene so far is about 70 megabytes. The average comic page is about 200. It goes fast. It goes real fast.
I know. And to think my first actual desktop computer came with a 20 megabyte hard drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't even remember what they were measuring RAM in those days, but I only had 4 of them.
I had a 120 megahertz processor, a 900 megabyte hard drive. Probably, what would that have been back then, back in the early 90s? 16, 32 megs of RAM, maybe. Megabytes, not even a full gigabyte of RAM.
Oh, Mac, you've got a good point there. 64 gigabyte thumb drives. Yeah. I've got several of those and 2 or 3 128 gigabytes. Since I bought this faster computer for streaming, I have copied the contents of all of those into one of the, I think it's 4 terabyte external drives, just to keep from having to use up all of the USB ports that the computer can access at one time, and just go, hey, here's one with 17 different things in it. All I got to do is make sure I label everything. So, yeah. At one time, I had like 15 or 20 thumb drives plugged into outlets, USB outlet strips, plugged in. And then I ran into the problem of turn one on, another one shuts off because it doesn't have any more USB inputs available to the computer. But then again, I got a computer down here. I haven't even desktop computer. I haven't turned on in years, and it runs Windows XP with all the updates turned off.
It's a reliable computer. You know
It
it will work.
is. It is. As long as you don't hook it up to the internet, it will run forever just the way it is. So that's fine. I don't think there's even any wires connected to it right now. Yeah, Paul, you're absolutely right, and Mac is absolutely right too. Oh Lord, 5 1/4 floppy. Yeah, I once bought a floppy drive enclosure to plug into a TRS-80 that had 2 5 1/4 inch drives on it, and I ran OS2 on that bugger. Yeah, some drives will lose data over time.
Solid state drives too.
CDs and DVDs will lose data over time. Depends on who made them and who was on quality control that day.
Every 5 years, you just want to upgrade your backups.
Yeah.
Roughly.
I've gotten, let's see, this streaming computer, I think I got 6 to 8 months after we started doing Stupid O'Clock. So that's been almost 3 years. So I've got another couple of years before I have to replace this bugger. But I may get another of the small form. I don't even know what they call them. It's like a microcomputer, basically. I've had shoe boxes that were bigger, but it's been one of the best I've ever had. The other one is a Lenovo.
Personally, bad experiences with Lenovo.
It's loaded with bloatware.
Yeah, if it's a laptop, it's going to be bloated. It doesn't matter which brand. But
well, this one doesn't seem to have a lot of unnecessary garbage on it, but the other one, there's a program that starts up trying to scan the hardware, and then it just sits there trying to start for the entire night while I'm in bed. It pops up without my knowing about it, and I'm going, if I knew how to uninstall that without ruining the computer, I would.
The only way you're going to be able to do that is literally a clean install, like completely reinstall Windows 10 and clean. Like you have to absolutely.
Yeah, just format the hard drive.
Yeah.
Do a clean install. Yeah.
honestly, the best thing you can do is just take out the drive, get one of your open up one of your other drives, like your portable, click that in there because they're all NTSCs or standard, like they're all the same essentially. They
Hmm.
just have a housing. Just pop one of those in, install Windows on that, and you're set.
Yeah. Um, Basically, I'm thinking um, I am almost entirely finished with uh, migrating every function from the old computer to this one. And when I get the hardware to run the printer from both, I'll turn the other one off and let it sit. I'll only need it for some obscure graphics programs that I've got on the old one that I don't want to repurchase to install on the new one because I've had them long enough to where, oh, we've noticed you put this on a device that actually works. You owe us money now.
Mm, yeah,
I'll just keep using the free version I got on the other one.
well,
I
because
may even disconnect it from the internet because I'm not getting email on it, not web surfing, not doing anything because it's very slow compared to this one.
yeah,
I didn't know how slow it was until I bought this one. Yeah. And I have a friend, don't we all, who goes, "Oh, format the hard drive, go to Linux, it's perfect." And I'm going, dude, I hear you complain every time you want to use a program in Linux, you have to download a brand new copy and install it before you can actually do anything. You have a fan, Mike Jimmy.
yeah.
Red Dress
No,
Press is saying hello.
yeah, that's Chris Evans. The other one. And he does a show as well. And I've been sharing my stream to my own YouTube account as well as my Twitch. So he's coming through my YouTube. So we're doing good, Chris. We got funded. So if you still want your copy of Carbon Core as well, this is your chance because I want to hit 2,000 and we're at 1120 right now.
Ooh, okay. And you got how many days left?
We have 1 week left to go.
1 week. Okay.
So next week, for Hang and Animation, I'm probably gonna do a closeout stream for the campaign. Just gonna have an open stream yard, let people all hang out. Gonna have to talk to Luce about it, you know.
Hello,
Hey,
Thesis. Glad to have
Hello.
you. Hooli finally got tired of walking, huh?
Hmm.
No, Paul. I didn't express myself well. Um, this guy, he loves the command line.
hmm,
That's his favorite way to work. He doesn't like a GUI. He doesn't like click and run. He likes typing in the command line. And every time he wanted to run a program, he was in the habit of making sure that he had the most up to date version that anybody had written for his flavor of Linux. So instead of running what he already had, he'd download the new copy and reinstall it and then run it. This is just this is just the way he is.
whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, I mean, um, I met a lot of people that proselytize one operating system over another and kind of disparage the one that they don't use. but the people that tend to run Linux are a step further beyond.
It's a way to say it.
Uh, they are the people that go, oh, that's not a real computer. You're
Hmm.
clicking and things happen. No, you're not using the command line. That's not a real computer. Um, yeah, yeah, it's all in what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only thing that a GUI is going to do for, like, a graphical user interface is going to do for anyone is make it easier to use. Accessibility is a thing. Like, that's what it's made for, guys.
Yeah, and considering I started um with a TRS 80 Coco 3, and then went to a Radio Shack 386 running DOS and Windows 3.1.
Mhm.
I think I'm moving along reasonably with the times.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I
I
started in
kind of like
95.
Windows. I don't have anything against Apple except they charge too much. Um, I mean, what is there any real reason besides the logo on the outside of the case that a Mac costs $1,000 more than the same computer that runs Windows? Same hardware, different operating system. They may be better off now. There are a lot of advantages to using Apple products. They tend to link together much easier,
Yeah. Um.
and it's all really in what you get used to.
Well, yeah. It used to be like that. Apple nowadays is more of a brand name than a quality control. Like, Apple's 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, if you got an Apple PC, you, like, if you got a Mac, you knew you had a quality computer that was going to run no matter what, and they would be able to talk in between one another, no problems whatsoever. Nowadays, like, once they figured out that they can just renew the iPhone for only $80 every single year, and you know, absolutely put the minimum effort into them. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing you're paying for is the operating system. Yeah.
Yeah, um, I'll stick to what I know and what little I know, and I'm openly stating my ignorance of a lot of things right now. I used to be able to build my own computers, but then it got to where there was a lot of stuff you had to do in between plugging in all the parts and being able to actually install an operating system that uh-uh I mean, I can handle jumpers. I can handle this has got to be plugged into this slot. This has got to match up with the capabilities of this card. Yeah, but when you are going into the BIOS and you go, hmm, should that be point 0.3 or point 0.7? I don't know for sure. And there's no way to look it up
No.
because you don't have the computer hooked up to anything. You're just trying to boot it up the first time so you can hook it up to everything. I just gave up on building my own. Um, it
It's
got to
easy
where
nowadays, but
you go
yeah.
to a shop, you go, let's see what you got, or you go to one of the online things and you go, oh, this has got really good statistics on it. And it's on sale. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, okay, so I actually have a custom built computer a buddy of mine really likes making them. And I think if I had my setup the way it is now, and it's a high mid end, like it's not the highest quality. So for about $1,500, 1,200 euros at the time, um, I got something that would probably cost you $4,000 at the time, if you just had it standard built, including less hard drive space, um, possibly a slightly better graphics card. Graphics are everything nowadays, and I'm like, no, I need a workhorse. Um, and a lot of filler there, like all kinds of programs that are standard installed where you're going, why? It's worth getting a custom PC.
Yeah.
It's absolutely worth the time. There are websites online where they will build it custom for you. And it's
Yes.
not going to cost you all that much extra to have it
But you'll
built.
get exactly what you ask for.
Yes, and honestly, it is worth your time if you're not too familiar with making computers, but you know what you need.
Yeah.
Like,
The trick
my,
is to be able to ask the right questions.
well, that's the thing. Like, um, I'm a graphic artist. I don't need all that big a graphics card. Like, it's useful for example, rendering my animations. But
Yeah.
honestly, um, a 5 second feed is not going to take 15 minutes on a 4 GB graphics card. What I need is to be able to do StreamYard, Clip Studio Paint, big brushes in Clip Studio Paint, um, and do things on the background. So what I need is 32 gigs of RAM. Shove it in there and just
Really fill it up.
Mhm.
Use
flow
a
it.
shoehorn if you have to.
Exactly. Just fucking ram it in there and work. I need storage space and I need RAM. That like 1,200 euros.
Joe will probably be able to answer this. Um, Back in the day, before Pentium, there was a way to cheat and use a partition on a hard drive as a form of RAM.
Yeah.
Yes, that was something that was built into Windows. It was kind of a fail safe for Windows.
Yeah.
That way, if you did run out of RAM, it would utilize whatever you allocated from your hard drive. Of course, at a far slower read write speed than what RAM does,
Yeah.
but actually keep your system from just locking up, giving you the finger, and going have fun recovering.
Here's a blue screen. We hope you like the color. Yeah. That
I
first computer
used
with
to know
the
the coding for the registry to change that to a different color, because mine was actually the green screen of death for a while. It matched my high school colors.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
you remember that first 386 that came with the 20 megabyte hard drive? I used the whole thing as a virtual RAM in in the Pentium, I do believe it was. Uh, that that thing was a huge tower.
See, I
It
never
had
had a.
it had room for like 20 old style hard drives,
Mhm.
and I had it full. Had it maxed out with RAM. Had everything on the motherboard that needed to be added in. Um, had a special card to run a a flatbed scanner that had to be skizzy.
Mhm.
And hey, it 20 megabytes wasn't much, but when RAM was measured in megabytes rather than gigabytes,
I
yeah.
didn't have an issue with running out of RAM. My first computer, it was a Windows 95 Packard Bell. When Windows 98 came out, I had got my mother to buy me a copy of the upgrade. Found out I needed more hard drive space. So started doing research online to see what I could do. Found out you could compress a hard drive. So I got it from being a 900 megabyte hard drive to about a 2 gig. Got it to 98. And the only issue I ever had with that computer was when I'd be typing up a report for school, I'd look up at the screen from whatever paper I was typing from, and it'd be like 2 paragraphs behind me, not doing anything. And it finally pissed me off the one night because I thought it was freezing up. So I'd just hold down the power button and restart the computer. And it finally pissed me off the one night because it did it like 4 times in a row. I just slapped the side of the computer and you hear the hard drive spin back up, all the words appeared. I'm like, son of a bitch, I could have had not.
Could have had this hours ago. Back when I had the recording studio in my living room and the garage band and everything, I had this one cassette deck, would record flawlessly, would play flawlessly. We'd use it to, I had 2 6-channel mixing boards, one into another cassette deck, one into this one. So we had 12 inputs going into this. And those would feed into a reel-to-reel.
Yeah, I like Marvel Trade's comment back when percussive maintenance worked on computers. Yes.
Well, I had to use percussive maintenance on this particular cassette deck. I would turn it on, and one channel would immediately peg out on the volume and come out through a 100-watt per channel studio monitor that my next door neighbors would probably knock on my door and ask me to turn that noise down. But I learned if I took a 2-foot long piece of a broom handle and in the right place on the cassette deck, all the interference would disappear. The needle would drop back down. It would function perfectly. I just had to smack that sucker to get it to work. I'm going, what is this? What are you, a teenager?
That's the thing. Like, people forget how analog technology was years ago.
Yeah, it was just it was just something in hitting the power button would cause one channel to peg out. It was always the same channel. And it would always be feedback into the system. If you ignored it, the feedback would come out on your recording. You smack it once, everything went back to normal. You could use it for days without turning it off. But every time you turned it on from a cold start, that's what would happen. You'd have to smack it.
Well, gentlemen, I'm starting to fade. I keep hearing the wife walking around upstairs, so there's a ghost. So I'm gonna.
Or both.
Yeah, it could be both. That or it's one of the cats. The cats sound like a herd of elephants sometimes.
They do that, yes, indeed.
Yeah. But I will see you folks
Maybe tomorrow.
Yep. Oh,
Hello, Aurora.
Yo, baby.
Yes. No, she's been
there's the star of our
very
show.
in her box because I put it there to, make coffee for a second. And so I came back and she was asleep again.
Suddenly, our ratings
Yeah,
just went up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wrote a little poem up, didn't you? Yeah.
One photo of Aurora is worth 15 photos of cats.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she is
she's
just
going to be
staring at
such a
that
sweet girl.
screen.
They're like, the hell are those guys doing? She really likes screens. It's not exactly because she will get very distracted if the television is on, or if she sees either of my 3 screens, even on the other side of the room.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
We're going to be a little digital artist later in life.
Good night,
Take care, Paul.
Paul.
But I'll see most of you tomorrow night. And the ones I
Yeah,
don't,
we'll
I
see.
will probably see Saturday night.
Take care.
Have a good night, guys.
We will do our best. Thesis, I edited your story and Foxy's story Monday.
Mhm.
I believe I already mentioned to Foxy
Mhm.
the its and its. And that was about the only errors that I caught. I mean, there were like 3 typos.
Yeah.
And it was basically, wait a minute, it's spelled right, but it's not what she meant to say.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
it's the other word that sounds like that. And I think on yours there was an extra space where you meant to type a word. And I could tell from context exactly what you meant to type. It's like you didn't press the keys hard enough, but hit the space bar and kept going.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was it. That was it. Y'all's some of the easiest story editing I have done. And believe me, there have been times when I pull something up in Word and it's like, why is the entire story underlined in blue?
Oh no.
It's like, what the? Did they use text to speech and didn't or speech to text and didn't teach uh, the program what they sounded like before they decided to do this?
Yeah, there's a reason I don't use speech to text, because when you're doing something like that, you have to keep in mind if you're using words in languages that aren't English.
Exactly.
Yeah, the speech to text is going to be like, I don't know that word. Or just pick something close.
Actually, there was one text to speech that I had proofreading my stories to me. And I figured, hey, there's a lot of alien names and words in here. I'm going to have to go back and teach this thing. No, I had to teach it English. It got the alien stuff perfectly. I guess it's because I wrote it phonetically.
Yeah, that would make a difference.
Yeah, and English is not a phonetic language.
No.
Not by a long shot. No, And I've tried speech to text, and they are a complete bugger to program to understand your accent. And God help you if you have different characters with different accents. You'd be
Which I
better off
usually
to, well, you'd be better off just reading it just like everybody spoke the same accent and then
do.
going in for each character and fixing the dialogue for their accent and not run it through speech to text
Yeah.
on that particular thing. Um, when they finally get it right, it's going to be very helpful to a lot of people. There's a writer out in Texas. She's suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. She can barely type anymore,
Ugh.
and she has an enormous backlog of stories that she's just gotten the rights back from some predatory publisher, and she's rewriting everything and putting it out on her own, just like Carl and Donna do. Now, she's worried she's not going to live long enough to finish everything.
Yeah.
'Cause, she's a little bit senior. But the main problem is the arthritis.
Hmm.
She's
I can
she's
imagine.
already had to learn how she can um, cook small meals and put them in the freezer
Yeah, batch cooking.
in
And yeah.
different Tupperwares so that she's not lifting big pots and pans, which she can't do anymore because it hurts too much. Um, God love her. Um, I won a charity thing one time where the item I bid on, somebody's house had burned down, and she was trying to get donations for these
Mhm.
people so they could
Yeah.
recover from everything being gone. The thing that I bid on was to become a character in one of her books. We got on the telephone after I had won this thing, and she is absolutely delightful on the phone. And then she started talking to my wife.
Don't do that.
My phone call went on for 2 hours and I was not included. Turns out both of us wound up being characters in the book.
Well, shit, I did that for free.
And I wound up begging her to write a sequel to the story where my character could get redeemed so that my absolutely lovely wife character would not divorce me. Oh, Lord, that was fun. That was fun. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but whatnot. It was supposed to be the first book of a series, but she wrote it before the arthritis really got bad. So I don't know if there'll ever be a second one.
Well,
Whatever happens, happens.
yeah.
What is. Sometimes you can't change the circumstances. No, my character wasn't marginalized. I wound up being one of the important bad guys. I didn't know. I still had a starring role. It was just I was hoping for a hero, and I got a heel.
Redemption.
Yes, redemption. That's what I want. Oh,
Well, I'll tell you this much. In my story, you're not a bad guy, so you'll get redemption that way.
I like it when I'm a good guy. I even like it when I'm a background character that just walks through. Hey, how you doing? Um, can I help? Can I help you tote that barge or lift that bale? No? All right. You got it. See you later. Stephanie Osborne has put me in a couple of stories uh, as a background character. Um, there's a reason why I started writing myself into some of the Spaceport bar stories because people kept sending me stuff to where I unexpectedly wound up in my own Spaceport bar and was frightened out of my wits.
Yeah.
No, that's not the way it is. In the ones where I write myself in, I walk in and I am Lord of all that survey. Oh,
Once I get, out of my own head, I'll send you the introduction to your character like I did to Nick's.
oh, I can't wait till I've got time to dive into it and read everything. I really can't.
I think you'll enjoy it. I really do.
Well, from middle of July till just about Hallowcon, I should have a whole lot more free time. But right now,
Yeah.
I'm having to double up because I'm doing the June issue right now. I've got another week. Well, a week from Sunday, so I've got like 2 weeks to get it ready. I've already got all the stories for the issue, all the short stories. I've already got them edited. I've got to do the HTML coding, which is basically copy, put in a special program, clean, no junk HTML tags, put it in the template, save the file name. And then I've got to write my editorial. And today I picked out the cover, the background illo for the cover photo.
Yeah.
So I've got to put the graphics atop that, and that's like once I have all the information about who's going to be cover mentions from the other editors, that's like a 30-minute job.
All right.
It'll be like an hour for me to get the cover illo cropped and sized correctly, and then our title and subtitle and the little sticker for 27 years off in one corner or the other, depending on which corner is less busy.
Yeah.
And then the other corner will be in this issue, cover mention short stories, cover mention serialized stories, cover mentions poetry, cover mentions flash fiction. I'm waiting on everybody else to send me those cover mention names. And like I said, doing the covers is not bad. All I got to do is go to the astronomy websites and look for something that is fair use.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure there's not somebody who has digitally manipulated that image before I ever saw it, who has a name in the credits. I can't use those. That's copyrighted. So I have to get the copyright free stuff. But it takes a while to wade through all the different website directories of, hey, this is beautiful. Hey, this is beautiful. Oh, look at that. So far, ESO, I think that's European Space Observatory or something like that, or Space Organization. Their telescopes, their photos, only about 30% of them have some artist or technician's
Mhm.
name on it, which means I can't use it. So if I can get the raw images without anybody having to play with it, that's fine. And they also say, hey, if you're going to manipulate this and add text and whatever else and change it from our online image, that's perfect. That's allowed. So I'm good and clear. Good night, Mac. Sorry, I didn't see
Depending
that
on
earlier.
how people respond to this story, I might have a couple other short ones in my Google Docs just kind of sitting there. We'll see.
I found out today that last year I got the rights back to my steampunk western story.
Ooh.
It's only 8,000 words long because that was the word limit for the submissions. But I started off with the conceit of writing it in 2,000 word chapters.
Okay.
And there's a whole lot more I could do with this steampunk western universe that I created. And now that it's not part of that contest or that short story collection, I can go ahead and develop it. I may wind up with a whole book of my own steampunk stories.
Cool.
I've got several. It's one of my favorite genres to write because that's where I get to play Jules Verne.
Yeah.
And I can invent fantastic things to my heart's content and then try and write an adventure story that uses those inventions as background props.
That's kind of the best part about building your own world is you can do whatever the hell you want. Nobody's going to come around and say you can't do that. Yes, I can.
Oh,
I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
You have never seen this. Matter of fact, I don't think Mike Jimmy has ever seen it either. All right, you can click on this to make it larger, but let me do the share thing. But this is an oversimplified computer graphic version of something that I once did freehand with several dozen different colors of magic markers. And then we had a house fire and a third of it got burned.
Oh.
So I had a photograph of the original that I scanned at it's either 1,200 or 1,800 dots per inch.
Yeah, most printers or scanners can do 1,200, so it's probably 12.
Yep. The scan, when I pulled it up in a graphics program to look at, I switched from pixels to inches to try and figure it out. It's like 12 feet wide.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, if you work, oh yeah, no, you showed me this before. The world map.
All right.
We've talked about this.
Yeah, there's all kinds of Easter eggs in here. if you ever read any of my my Spaceport Bar stories, let's see, east and okay, right there is the city the Spaceport Bar is in.
Okay.
And this entire city is roughly the same size as the state of West Virginia.
Oh.
Yeah. And up here is the chief of police's private residence.
Burn it with fire.
No, he's the good guy. He's a hero.
All right.
And this little doodad here is a spaceport with runways. And this little I don't even know how many sides that's got. That's a prison for really bad guys.
Kind of looks like a flattened octagon.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the road between this fortress and it is elevated above the plain and walled so that nobody can jump out of a coach or something and try and jump over the side. This is the maximum security penitentiary. And this wharf right here, that is the only means of execution. They will walk you to the end of it, push you in the water, and let the sharks have you. Or whatever passes for sharks on this planet.
You're not going to drown. You're just going to be lunch. That's better than drowning, I think.
Well, it's a whole lot more poetic.
Depending on where they start, a lot quicker.
Yeah, that too.
That is the only active volcano on the planet.
I was thinking volcanoes, yeah.
And it turns out it's the only active volcano on the planet because there is a partially active planet killer missile that will blow the entire place up if it ever decides to go off. And one of the stories is all about somebody taking it upon themselves to make sure it doesn't go off.
No.
All right.
Oh, someone is trying to pull something out of a closet. Hold on.
Oh, there's all kinds of things in here. Alien colony with the forest planted in alien trees.
Looks like a jelly donut.
Huh?
Looks like a jelly donut.
Yeah. And then the bad guys, the chief bad guys country, with a spot where he was almost put to death, but it didn't take.
Well, that'll cause anyone to have a villain arc.
Yeah. Well, he was a villain before. Another alien colony, and they like moderate levels of radiation, high pressure, and high temperature. So they don't get too many visitors.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things. I could go on for days and days and days.
Of course.
Those are the best, though.
Oh, yeah. Someone asks you a question about your creation, and you can just go.
Hey, yeah.
And they go, all right, shut up.
Well, that's the
No,
thing.
I won't. But wait, there's more.
No, but here's the thing. Like, what a lot of people do is create a world and only create the world. And credit where it's due. Dan made stories. Dan made the world for a big part.
Mhm.
So you already have those stories. You've already got those adventures in, and a lot of creators, well, a lot of creatives only create a world, and they don't like they put a lot of effort into world building, but not into making a story. And so they're going to be able to go off on a tangent about how awesome their world is, but in the end, there's nothing alive in it because there were no stories to be told.
Yeah.
I have a perfect example of that. My brother-in-law, we used to do tabletop role playing, and he would spend hours and hours building the world and then do nothing with it.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain to him, okay, you've built a stage. Now, what play are we doing? And he's like, well, it's up to you. Yeah, but you need to give us some damn direction, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
give us a script.
We have
Here's the
a
thing.
stage.
Like-
We don't know the play. We don't know direction. We know nothing. You're just dropping us off in the stage with this background and these costumes and saying, play.
And here's
No.
the thing, that works to an extent. But as a dungeon master, your job is to give people a stage,
Mm-hmm.
give them a slight direction,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever idiotic thing they come up with, you say, cool, let's do that. Roll the ducks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the problem is he would give us the stage,
Yeah.
but there would be no. I tried to explain it to him like this. We're, Shakespearean actors, and you've given us the setting, and then just said, go. With no direction,
like, there's no
no
quests, there's
props,
no-
just go.
We've got a feast hall. What do we do with it besides eat?
We would be.
We got a
blown out of our
castle.
minds.
What's going on? Who owns it? Who's in charge? What are we for them or against them?
Exactly.
Where are the props? Is there a candlestick? Is there a candelabra here? Is this a dagger I see before me?
Yeah,
I mean,
you would spend
seriously.
you would literally spend hours on the world before we even got to playing, and then just say, "Okay, you're here."
Yeah. No, doesn't work.
Yeah,
like that.
that's only a third of the work.
Yeah.
We would be bored out of our minds after like 5 or 10 minutes because we try and do something, and he would have a very linear idea of how he wanted things to go. And if you diverged from that linear idea, he would force you back to where he wanted you. So
it's one of the number one.
He had a script in his head, but he didn't bother telling you what it was.
Railroad the Emperor thing.
He dropped us in a world that we knew a bunch about because he just spent 2 hours describing it to us. And it's like, okay, cool, we're here. So there's a town over in the distance. We're going to go that way. Well, you can't go that way yet because you're not supposed to find that yet. Then why did you tell us it was there? That's obviously the first thing we're going to go to.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
No, you're supposed to go into the forest because I mentioned the forest first. Are you stupid? You're dropping us in a foreign land and telling us there's a forest over here and a town over there, and you expect us to go to the forest first?
Yeah, really. Don't we need to buy supplies or something?
You're going to find something in the forest that tells you to go to the town. No.
What is there, a billboard?
Yeah.
No,
lights in the distance.
I pretty much preach that setting, set dressing.
Mm-hmm. Like I said,
The set is your background, the world, the whatever politics comes into play,
yeah.
interpersonal relationships and things. The setting, where you are on that world,
Mm-hmm.
and what you can see from where you are. Set dressing is the props.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are things that are scattered around for you to find and pick up, or ignore by accident that you're going to find out later you actually needed, or step into a trap
Like
because you thought you needed this thing, but it turned out to be bad news.
trying to explain it to him as, you know, we're doing a play. You've given us the stage, but we have no script. We don't know what play we're actually doing on this stage. It's just a generic stage. Hey, Nick. Yeah. Inexperienced DM. Yeah.
Yep. And
You
how you
gave us
doing, Nick?
the stage. Okay. What play are we doing on this stage? You need the stage, and you need the play, and you need the prop. You gave us one. And then just was like, okay, so go play.
So
Yeah, it's
for your
like
brother,
it's like taking a bunch of kids to a playground without any equipment on it whatsoever. It's just an open field, and turning them loose and go, hey, y'all ride the merry-go-round. What merry-go-round?
so
I
I
mean,
dropped a YouTube link in the private chat, and
yes.
it is a wonderful explanation on what makes a good DM by a professional DM.
See, I usually had the opposite problem. I spent too much time on the story and not enough on the world, so that people would ask me questions and I'd have to go, shit.
I
hold on,
hadn't
who's
thought
got
of
that?
that yet.
Also, good morning, Nick.
And Nick, we were talking about world building versus being able to make a story from the world building, basically. And the guys are giving me compliments because of all the background work that I did on
Oh, yeah.
the stuff that I work with. I've actually got one of the first things I developed was an 11,000-year timeline of written history.
I remember
And
that.
each entry was a story prompt for me.
Okay.
And on the map, that's basically mnemonics to tell me this story happens here. This story happens here. It doesn't make any damn sense to anybody else unless they've got my notes or have lived inside my head, which very few people have done. And believe me, I'm really bad at taking notes. But yeah, the stories bring out the history of these places and drop names and all this other stuff. And I have succeeded in making it feel incredibly old and incredibly varied and somewhat complicated, but still people are able to walk through and go, this is cool. Oh, what's over here? Okay. That looks like a good bar. Let's go have a beer.
Hey, this tavern is missing all the windows, the door is knocked off, and there's really, really loud music. Let's go there.
Uh-huh.
My
with
biggest hope is someone will take the world that I am building in my shifter story and be like, I want to go play over there for a minute and just exactly.
Mike Jimmy's doing our dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the only thing that I did was just create the world, put on the rules, and told Sandbox. Good luck, have fun. You know, like as long as you keep to these ground rules, you're fine. It's a small list, and as long as that list is limiting, but not constricting,
Hmm.
you can get very far.
Oh yeah.
That's the fun of it. Yeah, no, like honestly, I'm honestly so. Um, the next two stories that I have set for Love and Korra are both double features. So they're 64 pages. Like they're proper graphic novels.
All right,
I
I'm
kind of
going.
want it in between so I can work on two of them at the same time. Um, because in that way I can make a 32-page story first, finish that, get a crowdfunder going on that, and still continue on the other one because that's 64 pages, meaning it's going to take twice as long, or twice as much work, yada, yada,
Yeah.
yada.
Yeah.
I do need a writer for that because my writers are currently, the last year has been quiet because financial setbacks and everything. And
Yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah. Um, I know what that is. Weekly paycheck doesn't exist anymore. Panic mode engaged.
Yeah.
not even that bad. It's just that,
Well,
last year I had a stable job, fair enough, but I also pumped all the money that I had into upgrading this house. So Lewis could move in.
yeah, as you do,
Yeah,
right and
no,
proper.
kid and everything, and I haven't worked since December because my contract fell off. Yeah, I couldn't find a new job yet.
I got to go down the hall. I'm going to leave the camera going so, we don't. But I'll be right back.
But yeah, I'm gonna need a writer. Yeah, no. Nick, if you feel called out, if you got an idea, I would be happily listening to it because um, well, I need a story. I need a Love and Korra number 8 that is 32 pages long. So I can work on 9 and 10 in the meantime. Yeah, no magic, Martin. That's, let me see. But yeah, I need something somewhere. Yeah, and I share my screen, but Dan is gone. But yeah, like the number one rule for my world is it's a pure science fiction world.
Mm-hmm.
So in brackets behind it is no magic, Martin, or one of the writers tends to always forget that that is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awful to write around that.
Yeah,
Adorable over there.
I do not know if this will work. I just noticed that Joe Dog does not have me wrenched on this channel. So
No,
that
but
link,
if you share it on the comments in StreamYard, it shares everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, so it worked.
Well, it might not be clickable, but it's copyable.
No,
Uh,
Yeah.
it is actually clickable. Don't worry,
uh,
it actually works.
oh, good. That is the shared universe for the Spaceport Bar, and it has everybody else's stories except mine, except for maybe one or two that are slated for volume 2 of my own Spaceport Bar stuff. But that's some of those are just amazing. I mean, I'm going, damn, you took that in a direction I never would have thought of, and I was really happy to read it. Now we're living in each other's pockets. What can I steal? Uh, and there were one or two where a writer goes, "Hey, I'm stuck here. Um, I live in Norway, and I don't have the faintest idea what Elvis sounds like. Could you tell me what his accent is?" So I had to write dialogue for Elvis Presley.
Okay, that would be an interesting, mental exercise trying to explain to someone who has no idea what that would sound like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I could come up with the words to explain that without just being like, he sounds like Elvis. I don't know.
Fortunately, that is one of the accents that I have very intimate knowledge of.
Oh, I imagine you would. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's southern and it's gentlemanly
Mm-hmm.
and it is somewhat predatory towards the ladies, but um,
Nick, let me
notorious
drop
flirt.
you a. Here we go.
Good morning.
Dave.
And Nick says, we'll have a mage named Martin in something because of this. By the way, what does the word count look like on a 32-page comic script for Life on Korra?
So I'm dropping you a couple of scripts. Nick, in
There
your
we go.
DMs. As for word count, for the bond, so the one I'm doing right now, it has 6,342 words, and Martin tends to be a little less wordy. It is 5,676.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, Nick
So,
says Elvis had a low
fine.
tenor southern voice with a slight vibrato. His singing voice, yes. His speech did not usually have the vibrato, but low tenor southern accent,
Yeah, but
West Tennessee, East Mississippi.
if you're explaining to someone who doesn't know what a southern voice sounds like,
Yeah,
that's a regional. If you're describing that to someone from America, you can be like, yeah, southern, but from someone. I spent a week in Knoxville, Tennessee, back in 1992, I want to say.
yeah.
And that was an interesting experience to go from, Utah Mormon accents going to Knoxville, Tennessee, and being, 11, 12 years old and having, 16, 17-year-old girls coming up to me and calling me sweetheart. And I'm going, is she flirting with me, or is this just a thing? I don't know. I'm going to slowly back away right now because I have no idea what's going on.
It's just southern, and you're real cute.
Yeah, I know.
Oh God, we just hit the 2 hour mark, guys. So
Yep.
wait for Mike Jimmy to come back. We can go a little bit longer if you're up for it. No problem.
Yeah, I'm up for it. I just I have to check on a little baby.
Yes, little adorable baby. Believe me, I am so many times a grandfather now. I understand exactly what babes in diapers, how adorable and how much trouble they can be at the
Oh
same
yeah.
time.
I am
Yeah, just just wait till the first time she asks you for the car keys so she can go on a date.
Well,
yeah.
that's the thing. In the Netherlands, that is a little harder, um, because yeah, for the average license, because you have to have paid lessons. We are one of the hardest countries to get your license in. Um, like I cannot teach her to drive. Like you need to have a licensed instructor and everything.
Mhm.
They're down about 4,000 euros,
Oof.
so 4.5K.
Good Lord.
I got my
Jeez.
license a week after she was born. Um, yeah, my license is 1 week younger than my daughter.
I,
You can imagine how I went into that exam. That was like that driving lesson, like driving exam was literally, um, I just walked in, with my driving instructor, having done an hour, and he was like, you're in the zone," and I'm like, I'm a week-old dad. My
mhm.
adrenaline levels are beyond. You know,
Really.
I've been waking up you know, for every 3 hours for the last 1.5 weeks. Do you think, even remotely, that I care about this driving lessons? I'm going to jump in that car and just drive off. Like, yeah, no, the guy that
I'm
was
so
doing
hyper right now, I can see molecules move in the air.
exactly like
Yeah.
nobody's
I
gonna
know where
stop.
every car is in the next 5 countries.
I actually got that bad. I used to be not a great driver. I was a really aggressive driver. My mother was a lead foot, so and then she got pregnant and I'm like, "Okay, we need to start driving more
Yeah,
better, just better." And then once that happened, I've never really been able to go back to driving the way I was before. I'm completely paying attention to every single thing going on around me.
Yeah, I learned how to drive in a pickup truck with uh 3 on the tree manual transmission and a clutch out in the middle of a field when my dad had baled hay, and I had to drive the truck, and he would be standing there with a 150-pound bale of hay in his hands, waiting on me to get close enough for him to throw it 8 or 12 feet in the air so that my brother and sister could stack it on the back of the pickup truck. And I tell this with a straight face because basically my dad was Superman. I mean, seriously. Um, it just, but being able to learn out in the countryside, nothing to hit, nothing to run into,
Mhm.
all the time in the world to figure out how to use a clutch and how to shift the transmission and everything else.
well, that's the thing
Yeah.
too.
It's a whole lot easier
Yeah.
to get hold of the basics and things. Um, I was 2 years before I was able to even apply for a learner's permit, and I was out driving a dump truck on
Yeah,
the highways because it was a farm vehicle and I was a farm child. So it was legal for me to drive without a driver's license as long as my dad had the best insurance possible.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
It's the
I
same
mean,
here. Like,
by
um,
the time I went to get my driver's license, I had figured out um, split shifting a rear axle on a dump truck, being able to work the hydraulics and drop the grain off at the place where we sold that. Um, go down the road with something 26 feet long and almost 12 feet wide in 2-lane traffic in the country. You can't do that. You can't do that in England. The roads are only 7 feet wide, and the cars are only 6. I mean, if somebody comes at you, there's some kind of etiquette I have not figured out yet, but one of you pulls over and lets the other pass.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are. I've seen
no,
it
it's
happen.
literally chicken. It's literally plain chicken.
No, the only thing I was able to do to logic it out was the first one who had a place to pull over, pulled over.
Essentially, yeah. Take care, Nick.
Good night, Nick.
Yeah, I had 2 different experiences learning to drive. The first one was going with my maternal grandfather to go up the canyon, which is about a 45-minute drive, to go get coal because he had a coal furnace in his old ass house. And then he would just stop at some point on the way back, pull over, get out of the truck and go, "You're driving."
Yeah.
In a 1980 something Chevy manual pickup truck. And then my brother got a 1970 Chevelle SS for his 16th birthday that was supposed to go to me and then my younger sister when we turned 16. And he stopped driving it, and it basically sat 2 or 3 years not moving. And my parents would go on extended vacations and leave me home by myself, and I would go and drive the car, even though I wasn't licensed. No power windows, no power steering, no power brakes.
But it works.
Oh, it was fun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Adapt and improvise.
besides like my dad going, yeah, well, here's the truck, go put it over there. At part of terrain. I had no driving experience before I started. And the Netherlands have very easy, long entry lanes for the highway and everything. There's a couple that are not. So my first driving lesson, I'm behind the wheel. I was in a very bad place in my life. Like I was tired. I could only take evening lessons after working as a paper, doing very heavy manual labor, and I was not doing well mentally either. Someone is putting their arms like over there.
It's okay.
You got all the new things. And I had to suddenly go in there. Yeah, I had better experiences driving. I've had worse. But yeah, that was my first driving lesson, and the guy, like the driving instructor, and I did not mix well. Like he would just take over the wheel randomly while I was actually in control, and just absolutely, he was destroying my comfort in a car. So that was 2016. I quit, after failing my driving exam twice. And he was like, yeah, well, you're driving fine. And I'm like, that's all fun and all, but I don't feel safe driving. So in 2019, I tried again. Got in the car, had a much better driving instructor. Got in the car, drove off, no problems whatsoever. And he was like, how do you not have your driving license yet? And I'm like, well, it's been 3 years and, I'm in a better spot now.
Yeah.
Then I was scheduled to have my driving exam in a month in February 2020. And in March 2020, the world exploded. So, few years later, and I finally got my license after my daughter gets born.
I think the best experience I had with learning to drive highways was long after I had my driver's license, and we had to drive 5 hours north to go to a family reunion every year. And invariably, I wound up being the one tasked with driving home with everybody else in the car asleep. So it's totally quiet. No, well, yeah. I mean, not many drinkers in my family before I went to college. Yeah. No. Before I went to college, well, I had one uncle that Dad shamed him into going stone cold sober for the rest of his life. But had another uncle that very moderate drinker, never appeared to be under the influence at all. He'd bring a 6-pack to a family reunion. It would last him the entire weekend, and then his wife would drive them home just in case. But yeah, I'm sitting here in this big old car with the entire family in it in the middle of the night, going down a road. All I can see is what's in the headlights, and going, stay on this road till you see this sign, and you know where you are. Got it. It was a little bit difficult to get from point A to point B, but the roads were much simpler back then. There weren't that many divided 4 lanes or 6 or 8 or 15 or whatever. It was just 2-lane roads. And it was basically just country roads the whole way. And here I am. I'm cruising down the highway. Mom and Dad's asleep. Brother and sister's asleep. I can't turn the radio on because somebody will wake up. It's the middle of the night. Nothing else on the road.
Yep.
And it's just, okay, got this. Just, it's in glide. That was not a selection on the gear shift. That was the way I thought about it. We're just going. And I always got us home safe. Never had any accidents doing that. It wasn't until my college years when I started taking risks and being stupid.
Yep, when you're young and dumb and think you're invincible. Yeah.
This was like pre-high school. So got in college, and like any other college kid, I felt invincible. And
No, you're not.
I quickly learned that I wasn't. Yes, indeed. It's it's life is a series of twists and turns.
Yep.
And everything is a learning experience if you pay attention.
Yeah.
And if you're not paying attention, there's something you needed to learn that you missed out on. That test is going to have to be given again, no matter what happens. You can't just play hooky from the exam. It will come back.
If you're not prepared for it, it's going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, and then you'll have to take the test again anyway. Oh, there she is again.
There's the baby.
Pretty girl. Yeah, I don't know that I could drive in England. Mostly because the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car, the traffic's on the wrong side of the road, and the girls wear mini skirts.
Yeah, it's very distracting.
Yes.
I have enough distractions in my day-to-day life. I don't need more distractions. That's just keep my eyes focused right here.
Mm-hmm. And I'm used to a vehicle not having a gear shift in a standardized place.
Yeah.
So I don't have to use the gear shift right-handed. I can use it left-handed. The ones on the tractor were between my knees. They weren't synchromesh transmissions. You weren't supposed to be able to speed shift them without coming to a full stop. But you run over enough bumblebee nests while you're bush hogging a field, you learn some amazing skills.
And now you have to deal with modern vehicles where the gear shift is a little knob that's right next to or right under or right near your volume knob for your stereo.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the wrong knob and drop your transmission.
I am so glad that that is no longer, like, that is still not a thing for most cars here.
Yeah.
That is. I want to feel my. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've even had to drive one of those cars that had the push button automatic transmission in the middle of the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want that?
Some car makers did it, and people bought them.
So they made
wasn't
more.
Wasn't my family, but I've had to deal with it before.
Push button ignitions are bad enough.
Push button automatic transmission. And it worked.
Oh, I'm sure it worked.
It fell out of popularity really quickly, but they had engineered it so that it would work. Try honking your horn, and all of a sudden you're in neutral at 70 miles an hour on the freeway.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I can see problems appearing.
Road rage, trying to honk at some asshole behind you, and you just put the car in reverse.
It's gonna keep moving. You better react quick, but it's gonna keep moving.
Yep.
Oh, and I found out the hard way that you don't put a car from forward to reverse without coming to a full stop on an automatic transmission.
No, don't do that.
No.
Dad and I had to crawl under a car in a pouring rain and replace one of the universal joints in a drive shaft because I made that mistake.
Oof.
I've had someone who thought he had a sixth gear because he was so used to it in his own car that he went from fifth to reverse. Let's say the car did not like that.
No, the car did not like that at all. No. No, but I would say from my limited experience, large but still limited.
Oh yeah.
Developing the ability to drive a wide variety of different vehicles with different kinds of engines and transmissions and capabilities is an invaluable learning experience.
Especially when you go out drinking with a friend who has a little small manual pickup truck, and he gets so blind, stinking drunk that you end up having to drive him home in a vehicle that you've never driven before and haven't touched a manual transmission in probably 8 years. And he's like, "Here, drive me home because I'm drunk."
Yeah.
Dick.
Emergencies do happen. Yes. Lindsay used to have a little Suzuki with manual transmission. And she also had gotten used to driving a rather large pickup truck with a manual transmission on the steering column rather than in the floor. And she had the hardest time getting used to automatic transmissions. She kept wanting to shift a gear when the car was doing all the work and all she had to do was I had the hardest time. A girl I dated in college had a Volkswagen with an electrostatic clutch. You touch the knob on the gear shifter, the clutch engaged.
Okay.
So you could be going to, there was no clutch pedal. It was a manual transmission. You could be going down the road, you put your hand on the gear shift, car's in neutral. Whether you wanted it to be or not.
Another poor design choice.
It worked for Volkswagen. I mean, seriously, they sold billions of them. Very simple engines to maintain, I'll tell you. Well, in her station wagon, it was. I had a dune buggy that, God, whoever rebuilt that thing into a dune buggy from a Volkswagen messed up a lot of stuff. Could not keep valve cover gaskets on it. Oil leak all the time. If you ever drove in the rain, you had to have a spare distributor cap because the engine would heat up the distributor cap and any water heating it would cause it to split, which meant you ain't going nowhere. So you had to have replacement parts all the time. And I finally got rid of it. I mean, I loved driving it. It was a fun little imitation Jeep, but it was one of those things where you don't drive it in any kind of bad weather. You don't drive it anywhere where water's going to get splashed on the engine block. If it's not a bright, sunny day, forget it. And you're going to have to replace the valve cover gaskets every 30 to 90 days, no matter what you do. It got to be a real pain. And because it was a dune buggy, it was a shortened chassis. So the gear shift lever only had a set screw to hold it to the transmission shifter. Every once in a while, that set screw would come loose, and you got nothing that you can do with a gear shift lever that makes any difference whatsoever. You just got to roll to a stop, switch it off, get your toolbox out, get the right size Allen wrench, put the shifter back in the right place, tighten it up. There's a little divot in the shaft that went back to the gear shifter on the engine. And that's all it took. It's like 5 minutes, but you never knew when it was going to happen. You could be in the middle of rush hour traffic, and all of a sudden, you've got no control over what gear you're in. I had to get rid of it.
There's such a thing as safety.
Yes.
That's a thing. Ah, crap! I'm doing it wrong then.
All right, guys. We've almost gone 2.5 hours. I'm gonna call it a night.
Yeah.
Good idea.
And thank you very much for being here. I was very worried initially that it would be one of those. I'd play the opening credits and then a couple of ads, and then
Mhm.
play the end
Sunday night.
credits, and never even have my face on screen. But y'all have made it a very, very good night. We've talked about writing. We talked about cars. We talked about babies, and I think we've done a good show.
Yep.
And thank you very much. And we will see you as soon as possible, if not tomorrow night in the green room, possibly Sunday morning or Saturday night, which will be a more reasonable time of day for Mike Jimmy.
That's a bit.
The sun will actually be up.
Especially this time of year. Yeah, no, it starts at 5. It's insane.
Starts
I'm way
at
too
5
high
and
up.
ends in September.
Yeah, no, it does.
All right. Let me get down here to Brand, and I will get everything ready to play the outro. Thank y'all very much. I really appreciate it. And thank you very much for your time and your conversation, because I really appreciate that as well.
Always a pleasure.
And Carl, I'm sorry it was 2.5 hours, but we were having
gonna have to
fun.
I don't apologize at all.
No,
Oh, I
we had
do.
fun.
Yes.
A good time was had by all of us, and hopefully by anybody that watches this on the replay. I have no idea how many people are watching it live. Probably just us. No, it doesn't tell me. So, see y'all on the flip flop, as the truckers say.
Okay. Take care.
Good night.
Good night.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.